Tatiana Deschamps y les doy la bienvenida a En Inclusiva para Saracen. Y hoy les tengo muchas sorpresas porque no solo estoy en un lugar increíble que se llama Bocata, que es un lugar delicioso que está aquí en Pachuca, que de verdad tienen que conocer, no solo porque está increíble el lugar, sino porque además se come delicioso. Pero tengo un invitado que cuando sepan quién es, bueno, se van a emocionar así como yo estoy de emocionado. Y es nada más y nada menos que Joe Wyman, de los Scorpions. Y quiero decirles que esta entrevista la vamos a hacer en inglés, porque Joe habla en inglés, pero quería hacerles la introducción en español y vamos a tener subtítulos para que ustedes puedan entender la entrevista. Joe, welcome. How are you?
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and it's an honor for me to share my story.
We are really honored because we were talking before and I was getting to know you better, and you have an amazing story, not only as a musician, but as a husband, as an entrepreneur, as a biker. We have so many things to talk about, and I would like to start with a very beautiful story about your life. How did your dream as a musician started when you were really, really young? Tell us something about it.
Well, it's a very unique story, and I wouldn't be here today if this one little thing happened, which I will explain. I was about 11 or 12 years old and going to what in the U.S. they call elementary school. And there was a music teacher that came to all the classes and said, hey, do you want to be in the school band? And so I thought,
Maybe.
because, well, 2 days out of the week, we get to skip part of the class and go to music. You know,
So it was tempting for us.
oh, yeah, I'll give it a try. So after school, I went to sign up to sign up for it. And I got in line, and when it was my turn to sign up, she asked me, I get emotional because it's a crazy story. So she said, okay, what instrument do you want to play? I don't know. I had just thought, hey, I'll just be in band. And I could have been a trumpet player, violin player. With
A guitar?
She looks on the list. Oh, we don't have any drummers. You want to be a drummer? Sure. That is how I became a drummer.
So it was not your dream as, when kids are really young, they say, oh, I want to be a drummer. It was like a casualty or something.
Yes, yeah. It just happened that way.
So you started there, and how you made that as your career? How did this happen?
Well, they, she taught as much to the band as she could, and I got to a certain level. It was fun to do, and it was just something that I did well. I kind of acclimated to it real quick, and I ended up in junior high and all through high school as first chair drummer, like the best drummer, and then we just play, snare or bass, because it's an orchestra and band and the marching band. But it was something that I felt good about myself because, I was like better than everyone else or most everybody else. And it was just, I don't know, because those years, those early years are really tough. And if you don't have something that you can hold on to that identifies you and express yourself. So I was just blessed, and my parents
I want to ask you
bought me all the equipment I needed, my first drum set, and it just really started from there.
Yeah, I was going to ask precisely this. How about your family? How did they support you with this talent you had? Because sometimes as parents, when the children or where the boy or the girl come to the house and suddenly ask, oh, I want to be a drummer, or I want to be a singer or an actress maybe, the first thing they say is, you're going to be starting. How do you think about that? And I think when parents or families support the dream of a kid, it's like a really, really important thing of how they can they come up with it.
Exactly. Well, with with drums, you start on a little pad, so that's not too bad. And then you go, the next step is the snare drum. That's not that bad. But when you get the whole set, you're at home, and you start...
And the neighbors.
Parents just are starting to think, maybe one shouldn't have supported him. But no, they were very supportive, and I'm very grateful for that. And like I said, I wouldn't be here today if it weren't for that one teacher that kind of guided me and said, drummer, you're a drummer now.
So I've been reading and listening some of the interviews you've been, and one of the things that calls my attention is that you are like 18, 17 years old, and you are in Europe, right? And you're trying to look for a job, if I'm correct.
Look for a band.
For a band. And suddenly you end up with the Scorpions. Yes. Tell us something about this experience.
Well, my main goal was actually to go to, eventually end up in England and find a band there, because it's so many amazing bands that came out of the, the British bands. But I'm trying to make this quick because I know we're limited.
Don't worry.
We were, I was driving through Germany at the time, heading south because it's starting to get cold. And winter's coming in, so you want to head down to the lower parts of Europe where it's warmer. And I ran into, back then all the musicians hung out at record shops.
So you went to a record shop?
I went to a record shop, big, and that's when they had the vinyls, and it just rows and rows. They sold everything, not just records, but everything that musicians needed. And so I go in there, and after traveling through all the different countries, and each country has a different language, it was hard to communicate with people. But the owner and his wife was German, and he was British.
Oh, so spoke
and I were like, and started talking and said, hey, I want to get into a band. And there was a magazine called A Melody Maker, and it had ads that you can post in the back of the magazine, and he helped me write up an ad and put it in there for me. And he said, just contact me like once a week, and I'll let you know if you get any response. So back then, you got to remember, we didn't have
like WhatsApp, right?
No computers, nothing. The only way to communicate is the dial phone. And so I called him up, hey, and anything happening? And he said, yeah, there's this band that's they're one of the top bands in Germany at the time. They're one of the top 3. And he said, they're looking for a drummer. I said, give it a try. So he gave me a number to call, and when I call that number, I can't remember if it was Klaus or Rudolph, but one of them picked up the phone, and it was hard to communicate.
Because they were speaking German, right?
Exactly. So they gave me the address, and eventually, after a day and a half or something of driving, I ended up in Hanover, Germany, which is where they closer. Rudolph and Klaus are the 2 main people that were really from the very beginning of the Scorpions. So, and they're from Hanover. So I lived in Hanover for a while, and that's started rehearsing with them. And we did quite a few shows.
You were with them like for 2 years, right?
Less than a year.
Less than a year. But I know you were key in the music spoken or sung in English, right? Because their songs were mainly in German.
Yeah, one quick thing that a lot of people don't know, that if let's say you're a Mexican band and you want to make it internationally, you need to do your lyrics in English. English is the universal language for all pop and rock and music. So they struggled in the beginning. When you listen to some of the older Scorpion songs, you can hear Klaus's accent come out, and he doesn't quite pronounce everything perfectly, but over time, he speaks perfect English.
You're still friends with them, right?
Yes. I'm like honorary member of the Scorpions, and they anywhere they play in the world, I message the manager, and there's always 2 VIP backstage passes and everything for us. So we're really grateful, and we've gone to see them quite a few times.
And you've been doing an amazing and respectful job about, making these covers. I know you made something like symphonical song arrangements about playing the covers, right?
Well, that almost happened. The logistics of putting a rock band with an orchestra is not as
Yeah.
and but we're still in contact with the orchestra, and we're hoping to do something later this year
Okay.
in that direction.
That's great. And I know there's a lot of facets about Joe, not only as a musician or as a former drummer for the Scorpions. One of the things that caught my attention was that you are living in Mexico. And that's really great. We have him here in Pachuca, imagine that. And you've been having a great career as an entrepreneur, as a businessman, as a biker, as many things that make...
Well, I'm a biker, but I don't have a bike race.
You don't have a... Oh, no, but you will. Maybe. Okay. We're asking your wife if she agrees. Are you agreeing with that? Okay, she's right here, right?
She wants her own bike.
Oh, okay, yeah. So we can make something about it. So tell me more about these things you've been doing, because I know you love beer, craft beer, and you have been doing very interesting things about it.
I love craft beer. They call it craft beer in the U.S. Here, they call it artisanal beer.
Yeah.
And it was kind of hard to find. There was only maybe 1 or 2 local breweries. Now there's quite a few. So I did, quite a few years ago, I thought it'd be great to create my own beer, because then I don't have to look for the kind of beer I want. I got my own
Get
beer.
your own beer.
So we found this amazing a mom and pop brewery, and they're just amazing people. They're so good to us. 777 Brewery. They're located right here in Pachuca.
Here in Pachuca.
And I figured, since I live in Pachuca, why not, support the people here? So we got together, we sat down. I told them what kind of, my favorite beer is IPAs. And that's another story in itself, that the meaning of IPA, they call them IPAs here, but
Bypass.
it's IPA.
Yeah. Pale ale. It's like the La Clara, no? Like that here.
Which is different than just a pale ale. But so we created the first beer, which is Sessions IPA, and it's Joe Wyman and the Blackouts brand. And we now have our second beer, which is a Belgium wheat beer. And it's similar to the Blue Moon. I don't know if you ever had Blue Moon beer. And
I love beer.
Marie figured, hey, I have my own beer. So she said, I want my own beer. So now we have 2 different beers.
And you have no problem, right?
No problem. Eventually, you want to eventually have 4 different flavors. And it was exciting. I got to go to the brewery and actually help, mix it and see the process. It's a very fascinating process. People don't realize, the mass-produced beer is just all automated. And it's designed to ferment quick, and because they need to make millions of cans.
And the flavor is really different because of the...
Yeah. And but the artisanal beer takes time to ferment, and you have to go through all the different. And it's a fascinating process.
And you were speaking, you were speaking about the Blackouts, and that's something I want to talk about, because you are still in love with music. I think you're gonna be in love with music always.
All you musicians out there,
oh God,
know how it is. Once it's in your blood, you can't stop.
Yeah, of course.
You live for that time on stage. Being on stage is what you live for.
Of course, once a musician, always a musician, right? Yes. So you come here to Mexico, and you have this new band called the Blackouts.
Yes. That was formulated, came out of the and I don't want to go into the details of the past couple of years we all
Yeah, tough time.
the music industry and the travel industry and all that got hit really, really bad. We had a lot of shows we had to cancel. So we regrouped and came up with Joe Wyman and the Blackouts. And I have an amazing band now of amazing young musicians. They're like half my age. But when
Kind of mysterious, right? Because they're wearing these black masks.
well, that was a like a theatrical type of thing. But if you notice during the video,
They take it out.
they take it off. It's like we're revealing ourselves. You know, it's like, why hide behind a mask? You know, look at people. We got united we stand, divided we fall. So as a people, we need to stand united. You know, the lyrics, yeah, kind of like behind. And the video that you're saying
Hey,
is our we decided that we want to, you know, and I appreciate the Scorpions and it opened a lot of doors for me, but we want to be our own band and have our own music. So we're creating, we have 2 songs already of our own originals, and we have 1 video. We're going to start on the 2nd video this coming month in March. I'm going to have 2 videos. And we will have our own original music. And it's exciting. We had to figure out, you know, when you got pop, we want to stay in a rock genre. So you got the pop rock, and then you got the crazy death metal. And we didn't want to be, so we're kind of like
in the middle.
a little bit towards
But the
harder rock. And it's exciting when you have your own music and you're playing it. It's like, wow, you know, this is really good stuff.
Are they all Mexican?
They all live in Mexico City, so we travel to Mexico City a lot. To in fact, we had a rehearsal last night.
Oh, and you got women in your band.
We have a female vocalist, Karina, and she actually does 3 songs solo, you know, herself. And yeah, it's a 6-piece band. We have 2 vocalists.
And I know you're having upcoming events, and people would want to know how can they have information about these events, these blackouts, and everything we should know about them. Do you have social media where people can have all this news of these dates so they can know more about your band?
Yeah, Joe Wyman Artist on Facebook and Joe Wyman Official, and it's spelled in Spanish. Official.
Oficial.
On Instagram. So yeah, find me on social media and like my page, and you I'll have all the dates of all our upcoming events.
And I have to ask things because many people is probably asking, what is Joe Wyman doing in Mexico? So why did you fall in love with our country? Or with somebody I don't know?
Well, Marie and I met in Florida, and she came back to Mexico, and I had to stay in Florida. My mom was very ill, and she eventually passed away, so I had to kind of hang out until that happened. And then after that, I figured, hey, you know, Marie had a home here, and she should come over to Mexico. And so I...
What?
Pachuca, yeah. So here I am, and it's a great country. I'm learning more and more about the geographical areas. It's just a beautiful country because it's surrounded by all these bodies of water, and you got the Caribbean, you got the Pacific, you got the Gulf, and there's so many very unique, beautiful areas. And in Pachuca, we live right by the mountains. So
Amazing news.
yeah, it's just 30, 40 minutes and you're up in the mountains, and it's just beautiful there. And but that's
the story.
Yeah.
And you love our country, right?
Yes, of course. Been here almost 4 years.
Almost for you.
I'm still here, and I love it. So
That's great. So, well, I would like to make some quick questions, but before that, I would like you to tell us, or the people in Inclusiva, or Saracen, what was your best moment on stage?
Well, being 18, 19 years old and being on stage with an amazing band, because the Scorpions, we didn't do bars and stuff like that. We actually did, concerts. Well, they were smaller concerts, 300 to maybe 1,200 people.
Big.
Yeah, and that was exciting. But another one, when you asked me that question, one main, and it was just like 15 seconds on stage. Because remember, I mentioned I get to see the Scorpions, and I get to hang out backstage. I have the kind of passes that they have, so I can go anywhere. The only thing that's off limits is, if their dressing room is closed. Obviously, I'm not going to come barging in or something like that. But I can walk around in and out at anywhere. And it was just such an honor to do that. And I've seen him so many times, in the 80s and 90s and 2000. That to me, that the exciting part of watching the show is backstage, the logistics. Because you see 5 musicians on stage and you're going, you don't realize if 35 people behind the scene, like here, behind the scene that do a lot of the work that make them sound good, look good, the lighting, and it's so fascinating, and each venue is different. So to me, it was very exciting to be backstage. So this was in Florida, Hollywood, Florida, at the Hard Rock. There's about 6,000-7,000 people at the concert. And Klaus decided to come up to the mic. I don't know if you saw that video.
No, I didn't. I
saw it on YouTube. It's like a 2-minute video. It's announced that, he said, back in the 70s, we needed a drummer. And we found this drummer. He's from America, and he's from right here from Florida. And everyone's clapping in, and everyone's looking in the crowd because they think I'm there, but I was actually backstage. And Klaus didn't know it, but Rudolph pulls me up on stage. And, I give Klaus a hug, and I'm going like this, and they're all going, Joe, you got to watch that video. It's amazing. That was such an honor because there's so many people. I wasn't with them long, but I definitely influenced them in a couple, 2, 3 different ways.
And I can still listen and watch your emotions when you talk about this moment.
Because this is the lead singer on the Scorpions identifying me as one of their drummers and verifying, because there's so many, unfortunately, people out there that think, he was their driver. He just drank beer with them. He's lying and this and that.
Yeah.
But this first time, Klaus, hey, Joe Wyman, we want to thank, so it was a great experience.
So, Joe, this is not a quick question, but some advice or advices that you want to give to the musicians that are watching us right now.
Number one is practice. It's to master something, you need to the kung fu people, the top people, I can't remember out there, what's it, Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
If you want to master something, you got to do it 10,000 times, which seems like a lot.
So lots of practice.
Yes. And then if you want to become the master of masters, you got to do it 100,000 times. So don't give up. Practice. And this is, I think, number one. And I got this from a quote from Miles Davis. He's a famous jazz person. And he said that it's 20 out of 100%, 20% is playing the correct note, no matter what instrument, hitting the right beat, playing the right, being in tune or whatever, is 20%. The other 80% is attitude.
And you have lots of Paddington.
Yeah, especially when I'm drumming. So attitude on stage, you don't want to see somebody, just playing guitar, looking at their hands the whole time. You want to see somebody really energetic and just connecting with the audience, and that's where the attitude needs to come in. If you go to an audition and you're not moving, you're not excited, you could be excited inside, but you need to bring it out, and that's attitude. Got to have this amazing attitude.
Those are great advice, Joe. And finally, I would like to ask you, we were speaking before about this motorcycle
Yes.
passion that you have, even though you don't have you don't own
Not yet.
your bike yet, but
We were just at the Harley dealership in Mexico City. I sold them bikes there.
about you kept an eye on them, right? Okay. So there's going to be this festival or something, the Moto Fest.
Yes, a Motovest in Huasca, in a beautiful mountain.
The first magic town in Mexico, in all the country.
Yes, and it's 2 days. It's Friday and Saturday, April 29th. No, Saturday and Sunday,
Nope.
29th and 30th, because Monday's a holiday, so we picked Saturday and Sunday. And I had the honor of picking some of the bands to play there, and a lot of the I looked for local bands from Pachuca, because I want to help support the music industry.
Local music.
Yeah, local music. We've got an amazing lineup of bands. On Saturday night, we have a band called Masters and Sinners, and the ex-guitarist from Megadeth is going to be in that band. And they're friends of mine, so...
And the Blackouts? What about the Blackouts?
Blackouts will be playing both nights.
Oh, great.
So we're honored that we got... we said, what night you want us to play? And they said, we want you both nights. And so, thank you. That's great. So that's going to be a great... the place is beautiful, the location, and of course you're in the mountains.
Yeah.
You know.
And in the woods.
And it's not just for bikers. Anyone...
Family.
Yeah, it's anyone that wants to come, and it's definitely open.
Joe, it's been an honor to have you here at San Jose. It's really amazing. You're an excellent human.
To be at my age and still be able to rock is just, I'm blessed.
Age is in the mind.
Yeah, yes.
Thank you so much. Do you want to say something to the people who are watching us right now?
Well, I want to say thank you to all the fans. We have some shows that have sold out already, and we're excited about that. And all the bands are nothing without the fans. So go out there and support your favorite band. Go see them, support them. It's so important for the musicians. It's a tough life for a lot of musicians to actually make a living out of either just being a music person.
But you know what you love.
Yes, of course. And I want to thank all my biker friends that made me an honorary member of several different biker groups. So I want to thank them. I want to thank the group here. I want to thank you.
Thank you.
It's just such an honor for me to be here.
Thank you so much, Joe. Y gracias a ustedes por estar con nosotros en Inclusiva. Recuerden no perderse el contenido que Saracen tiene para ofrecerles. Constantemente estamos haciendo nuevas publicaciones. Estén muy al pendiente porque tenemos personalidades también muy interesantes como la que tuvimos el día de hoy, Joe Wyman. Y recuerden que Saracen también siempre está en los mejores lugares como en el que estuvimos el día de hoy. Muchas gracias. Nos vemos pronto.